Hey there YouTube, it's Bobi aka Paginator, and I have another book haul. I haven't done one in a while, but this one is a doozy. This is a haul comprising books that I picked up in January, February-ish, and there's a lot of them. I'm drowning in books, but I think that's a good problem to have. So the first book I'll show you I picked up at a library sale. Our library is trying to raise money for funds to buy new books, and so they're selling books that have been donated to them. And I picked up Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. I believe it's a new adult or adult romance book. I've just heard a lot of YouTubers, most especially Natasha from Tashopolis, talking about Colleen Hoover and how much they love her books. So I thought I'd give one a try, and it cost me $1, so might as well, right? Next, I have my book from Book of the Month Club, which is The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow, I think. The tagline to this book is, "Can their love of books and pop music save the world?" This is about a girl named Ellie Baker who has a secret library because books and media have been banned, and she runs into an alien or robot, or perhaps alien robot, who feels like he needs to turn her in, but she introduces him to the world of pop music and he falls in love with it. For Valentine's Day, I decided to give myself a trip to an actual bookstore, because if you are familiar with my channel, you know that there is no bookstore where I live or anywhere close to it. So I traveled to Salt Lake City and I hit 2 bookstores. I first went to the King's English, which is an independent bookseller, and they were having their annual hardback sale, which was 40% off if you bought 3 or more hardback books. And so I was able to get 6 hardback books for the price of like 4, I think. It was a very good sale. So I will briefly show you each one of these. This is Verified by Joelle Charbonneau. I have to admit I don't know anything about what this is about. I know the sequel to this is coming out in the fall, and I know that I love this author because she wrote the Testing series, so that was just an auto-buy for the sake of the author. Next we have Of Curses and Kisses by Sanja Menon. This is her new one, and I hope that I don't shoot myself in the foot and this book ends up coming in one of my subscription boxes later this month. But it looks cute and it's Sanja Menon, and I love everything that I've ever read by her, so yeah. Next we have 10 Blind Dates by Ashley Alston. This, I believe, is about a girl who's going through a breakup situation, and she has a very large family, and if I remember this correctly, the family's fighting over who gets to set her up on dates, so they decide, let's send her on 10 blind dates. This is supposed to be cute with some funny moments in there, and just seems like it would be a fun, lighthearted read. This one is Treason of Thorns by Laura E. Weymouth. I have read The Light Between Worlds by her, which I really enjoyed, so I thought another auto-buy author purchase. Then we have There Will Come a Darkness by Katie Rose Poole. I have to admit, this one I kind of snagged because the room in the bookstore that I was in started filling up because it was almost story time for the children's story hour there at the store, and I started to feel very anxious, and I had it in my mind that I was going to get 6 books. So this one just kind of looked interesting, and I read a little bit of it. It seems like it's going to be a heist kind of story with a group of people working together to pull off something, and so we'll see if it's any good. And then lastly, I picked up The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise. I actually picked this up before that last one. This was one that was on my list of books I wanted to find. This is about a girl who was not born with the name Coyote, but her dad gives her that name. Coyote's mom and sisters were killed in a tragic accident, and the dad kind of loses it. He changes his remaining daughter's name to Coyote and his name to Rodeo, and they have this old school bus, and they decide to go roaming around the country, or dad does anyway. And the grandma reaches out to Coyote and says, you know that park where you and your sisters used to hang out all the time? They're going to turn that into a parking lot or something. And she starts to worry because she and her sisters buried a time capsule there shortly before her sisters were killed, and she's the only person living who knows where that is. So she wants to go back and find it, but her dad is determined to never go back to that town again. So we'll see if she can get there. Next, I went to a Barnes & Noble in the Salt Lake area. There are several there, and I like to go to the one in a town called Sugar House because you ride the escalator up into the young adult section, and it just feels like, aha, I'm arriving. So I picked up The Humiliations of Pee Pee McGee. This is by Beth Rabel, and this is about a young girl who is constantly embarrassing herself. She is called Pee Pee because in 4th grade she peed her pants, and she feels like the source of all her troubles and embarrassment is one particular girl, and so she decides to go kind of mean girl on that other girl and try to plot her revenge. Will she be successful? Next, I picked up Anya and the Dragon. I am in the process of reading this right now. I'm about a third of the way through, and it's interesting. It's not as good as I wanted it to be. It is by Sophia Pasternak, and it's a girl who lives in Kiev-on-Rus, in a little village where there seems to be a lot of magic and magical creatures, and a family has moved there, and they have been tasked by the Tsar to find a dragon that supposedly lives in this town and hunt it. And Anya has been tasked with helping this family, and they offered to pay her a lot of money for every day that she helps them, and this is a good opportunity for her to help out her mother because her father's been drafted into the war, given no choice, is off to fight, and she and her mother are scraping to survive. Then I picked up 3 graphic novels, all of which I read as soon as I got home from my trip, and they were darling. We have The Prince and the Dressmaker, and this is by Jen Wang. This is about a prince who just likes to wear dresses, and so he hires this girl who is a very fashionable dressmaker to be his personal dressmaker, and she helps him, and he's not, or at least it's not explicitly explained that he's gay or transgender. He just likes to wear dresses. And he turns into this alter ego, which is the gal with the red hair. He's got a fabulous wig that he wears, and is the toast of society when he goes out on the town in Paris in these dresses. So that was really fun. Then we have Kiss Number 8, which has been nominated for awards in 2019. I'm not sure if it won any. I'd have to do some more digging on that. But this is about a girl who, there's kind of a mystery going on at home, and she ends up finding out some things about a grandparent of hers. But during this process, she's also discovering her own sexual identity and whether she's attracted to boys or girls or both. And Kiss Number 8 of her life is the one that kind of makes her go, oh, not what I expected. But it was a cute story. This is my favorite of the 3 graphic novels. This is Check Please. This is number 1 in the hockey series, and number 2 is coming out in April, I think, March or April of this year. This is a gay college freshman hockey player. Well, it goes through freshman and sophomore years, and he loves to bake, especially pies, and so when he moves into the hockey team's house, he's baking for them all the time, and he's just trying to kind of become a part of the team, improve his hockey skills, get along, and he's got a crush on the super cute team captain, Jack. What will happen there? I don't know. Well, I do, but I'm not going to tell you. Alright, that leaves us with my book outlet haul, and I guess we'll dive into that. I stupidly checked my email and saw a message from Book Outlet that said, our double points earning sale ends at such and such time today, and with my no impulse control, I decided to get some books, enough to get to the point on Book Outlet where you get free shipping. So for $35, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 books, which I feel like is a great deal. If you're not familiar with Book Outlet, you can find books that are either overstocked from stores or maybe slightly damaged, but generally in pretty darn good condition, and they're very well priced. So I will just show you the ones that I got, and as I said, this is very impulsive. So I don't know a whole lot about the books that I ordered. I know I have a problem. I know. Just be nice. Alright, so we have 9 Days and 9 Nights by Katie Katugano, which is the sequel to 99 Days. I think it's a sequel. Yeah, it says it's a sequel. Every last word by Tamara Ireland Stone. I had one of my students who loves to read go through my book outlet box, and she said this is the most interesting sounding to her. It is about a girl who's very popular, but she is hiding the fact that she has very say words. She has very obsessional OCD, and so she's struggling to hang on to her popular persona while dealing with her mental illness. Then I got a copy of Dry by Neil Shusterman and Jared Shusterman. I haven't read this yet. I know it's been out for a while, and for some reason I've just been kind of putting it off, so when I saw it on Book Outlet for a reasonable price, I went ahead and snagged it. This one is Beautiful Broken Girls by Kim Savage. I have no idea what this one's about. As I said, very impulsive book buying situation here. All We Left Behind, another one I don't know. Before We Go Extinct, I read a little bit about this. It's about a boy who his best friend died right in front of him in what may or may not have been a fall from a skyscraper, and so he is dealing with the after effects of that loss. Have another Colleen Hoover book, All Your Perfects. Again, either new adult or adult romance. I'm not sure on this one. It says, the last thing Quinn expected was to meet the love of her life just outside her fiance's front door. Drama. Here we have Be More Chill by Ned Vizzini, and I'm not sure on this one. I think it's about a high schooler. Let's see. Yeah, it says he's your average high school dork, and day after day he stares at the beautiful Christine, the girl he can never have. And we'll see what happens. This one is a bind-up that's 2 books in one. So Enter the Dark House, and it says the 2 books are Welcome to the Dark House and Return to the Dark House. This just seemed creepy because it had circus tents and creepy words, and it might be too scary for me if there are going to be scary clowns in there. I guess we'll find out when I start reading it. Then we have All of This Is True by Legia de Peñaflor. I am horrible at pronouncing names. I am so sorry. This one, again, is another one that I don't really know much about. We have The Arsonist, which is set in East Berlin before the wall came down. And that's about all I know about this one. It's Stephanie Oakes is the author. Interesting cover. And then lastly, we have Attack of the 50-Foot Wallflower. I have to show you the author photo on this because it is fantastically weird. Check this out. That takes some guts to have your author photo be like a half-shaved face, and yeah, very intriguing. This is about a girl who, I get very much like old school monster movie vibes from this synopsis. Phoebe is the main character, and she and her mom are forced to flee from flesh-eating plants, blobs from outer space, and radioactive ants. Because Phoebe's dad is an invisible titan with giant eyes that warns them when the next monster attack will take place. Interesting. I'm not sure. This one I got thinking of a few of my students, so I'm not sure if I'm going to read this one or not, but I will put this in my classroom library and see if the kiddos like it. So there we go. I know that's a long haul, and I know that some of the books I wasn't able to tell you much about, and for that I apologize. I am flippin' exhausted. I've been doing lots of homework today. Of course, I had to teach school, and I had to stay late to take pictures of the basketball team, and I'm just done. I'm ready to go put my feet up, and I have to cook dinner. I'm ready to go cook dinner and then put my feet up and call it a day. So I hope you are having a wonderful and bookish day. Happy reading. Adios.